Hello and welcome to the Edupedia world. Well, in this tutorial, we'll continue with files IO and streams and we will start from the files. So far, we have covered writing from the file, reading from the file, string tokenizer, we have seen the exception handling in files, we have seen binary and the text files, and now we'll start from the class files. So this is file class which is present in Java IO package. So this acts as a wrapper class for files name, like we do have for int with the wrapper class we have integer. Similarly for file names, this acts as a wrapper class, that is this provide us additional functionality to those files. So the file name like numbers.txt has only string properties. Right now it is just a string. But when it is added with a file, like a wrapper class, then it has some useful methods. For example, exist. So this is to test if the file already exists. Then we have can read. This test if the operating system will let you read the file. Then we have can write. This will test if the operating system will let you write the file. Then we have delete. So this actually deletes the file and returns true if successful. Then we have length. So length method returns the number of bytes in the file. Then we have get name. So get name returns the file name and excluding the preceding path. Then we have get path, which returns the path name, that is the full name of the path. Fine. So let's go to file num file, which is equals to new file. So you see numbers.txt, if numFile.exist, then system.out.println will give you the length. Okay. So let's move forward. Then we have file object and file names. So file input stream and file output stream have constructor that take file arguments as well as constructors that take string argument. So print writer smiley out stream equals to new print writer new file output stream will give you smiley.txt. Fine. After that, file smiley file equals to new file. So you see if smiley file dot can write, then print writer object will give you smiley out stream, and then you can have file output stream also with that. Okay. Alternative with scanner instead of buffer reader with file reader, then string tokenizer, use scanner with the file. So scanner in file is equal to new scanner and new file and then in.txt. Now similar to scanner with system.in, scanner keyboard equals to new scanner and you can provide your system.in to take the input using a scanner object. Okay. Now reading in ints. How you can read the int? Well, the scanner is having a method has int. So has int will provide you the int input, that is whatever input that you are providing will be read as an integer, will be read as an int and can be stored in a int primitive type. Okay, so this is how we read it using infile.hasNext. So this will tell you whether the file is having the next integer or not, and if it is having, then to obtain that we are having the next int method, which is similar to next line. We are having next int, which will tell us or give us the next integer available. Okay. Now reading the lines for character, we can even read the complete lines. So you can see from this file in the text, we can create the scanner object and then we do have a method has next line, which will check whether the next line is available for reading or not. And if it is, then using next line, we can actually read that complete line. Okay, so this is how this reading in lines of character works. Fine. Now, multiple types on one line. So you see that this is a program which actually tells us, how we can read the line multiple types by on one line itself. So you see, we firstly have created a scanner object in file, and using that scanner object, we are reading the file in .txt. After that, we are, using that in file to check whether it is having anything next. So whatever it is, it's like integer, string, or any other words, we can simply read it by using this next. So next will take whatever the next, word or the character we have. It will take and store in a name. Okay, so once it's done, then we are also reading the ID. So we are doing next int because if we are sure that the next character after the first one we have read is an integer. So this will read next character as an integer. After that, there is again a method next float. So this will actually read the next character as a float. So just make sure we can do that, but only if we are aware that the next character is in this particular format and it will come as float every time. So then we can do next float. Okay, so it will take out the balance, and then we can do anything whatever we want to do after obtaining name, ID, and balance. So this is one way of doing that. You can see there is like another way which talks about string line, and it is also doing infile dot has next line. So it is actually reading the whole line, and then it's like reading the complete line infile dot next line. So complete line is taken in this line string. After that, we are again using scanner. So this time the scanner object we are using is on this line, and then the object that we have created is parse line. So now we can parse individually using parseInt next, next int, and next float. So this way also we can get name, ID, and balance. So you see the difference is only that in the first case we are individually reading it. In the second case, firstly we have read the line, and then we have again created a scanner object to parse that line on basis of name, ID, and balance. Okay, so this is how we can choose any of the type we want to, depending upon how we would like to read it. Okay. Now multiple types of one line. So again, you see like there can be done in more ways. So in this way, we have taken our infile, and then in the while loop, we are using next line to check whether there is any line. So we have read whole of the line using next line, and then we are passing this complete line while creating the object of account class. So we have created an object of our account class using new account line, and then after that in this account constructor we are taking the line, and thereby in that constructor we are actually creating again a scanner object and passing that line on basis of name, ID, and balance. Okay, so this is another way of doing the same thing. Okay guys, now let's see what's buffered reader versus scanner. So we have seen both the things, scanner as well as buffered reader for reading. Now let's see what's the difference between the two and where to use which one. So we have also seen like for parsing primitive types both can be used. Scanner is having methods like next int, next float, next line, okay, for parsing. And buffer reader is having method like read, read line, and so none are for passing types, okay, but they are actually for reading either a character or a line. Then to read a particular token, maybe a word or something else, we do need a help of string tokenizer in buffer reader. Okay, then we can also use wrapper classes to finally get a particular integer. But scanner do have the method, when you are sure, you can use scanner. Next int method, if you are sure there is a float, then you use scanner next float method. Fine, so this is how you actually use your buffer reader versus scanner. So now buffer reader versus scanner checking end of file. So how do we check for end of file in both the cases? Well, in buffer reader, read line we can use with null, and read we can use with -1. But when we talk about scanner, so scanner do have next line, which will give us the next line, but if there is no next line, then it will simply throw the exception. Okay. So therefore, we firstly need to check has next line to check that next line is present or not. Similarly, for int and float, we are having like next int and has next int, and for float, like next float and has next float, and so and so. Okay. Now buffered reader in file equals to line dot in file dot read line. So you see over here that we are having a buffered reader in file, and then line equals to in file dot read line. So we are actually reading the whole line using read line. And then while line is not equals to null, we are actually doing in file dot read line. Okay. So in this way, we are actually reading the complete line. After that, we are getting like scanner in file equals to, and then while in file dot has next line, and then in file dot next line we are doing, and then using that we are actually taking it on a whole line. So this is how we actually do it. Okay, then I do have some suggestions. So the suggestion will clarify when to use scanner. So use scanner with file. So if you are having a file, then use scanner. Use has next to check the end of file, like while in file dot has next, and use next to read. So this will make sure that if there is any type of character, it will be read instead of using next int, because it might be possible that user enter things in some other format and you are reading it in a float format, then it might give you an exception. So to keep it simpler, use next int has next method. Okay, and you see the file input. So we are having scanner in file equals to new scanner and new file equals to new txt. Then we are having file output. So file output print writer out file equals to new print writer, and new file again we are passing over here out.txt. So you see the difference between scanner and print writer. So over here we have to do print or print ln or format, flush, close. These are the functions available with the print writer. Okay, and to do a file input, you can do it with scanner. Okay, so next topic is skipping binary files for IO. For now, and suppose if we do have time, then maybe we'll come back to see that one. Okay guys, now let's do this one, which is Java file IO and stream classes. So Java file IO and stream classes, we have two classes like object input stream and object output stream. So they both have methods to either write or read or write data one byte at a time, and automatically converts number and character into binary. So binary encoded numeric files are not readable by text editor but store data more efficiently. Remember, input means data into a program, not the file. And similarly, output means data out of a program, not a file. So don't get confused unless and until said. Now, when using object output stream to object data files. So output files are binary and can store any of our primitive data types like int, char, double, etc. and string type. Files created can be read by other Java program but are not printable. So Java IO library must be imported by including the line. So the line is like import java.io.star. It contains object output stream and other useful class definition. The IO exception might be thrown. Fine. So you see, like this is the IO library which contains output object output stream and other useful class definition. And the file is created can be read by other programs, but is not definitely it's not printable. Output file can be binary. Okay. So it's basically used when you want to read a like an object. Now handling IO exception. IO exception cannot be ignored. Either handle it with a catch block or defer it with the throws clause. We will put a code to open the file and write it in a try block and write a catch block for this exception. Okay. So you see we are having catch IO exception E, and then we are having SOP. So the problem with output you can see over here is we are having a IO exception, but we can handle it in a like a catch block, but it should know that where to keep it, because IO exception could be ignored if we just keep it below the exception catch block. So either need to be handled in a catch block, or we can even use throws clause with it. So that's why it's important to handle exception in uh, files and IO streams. Now let's see opening a new output file. The file name is given as a string. The file name rules are determined by your operating system. Opening an output file takes two steps. Create a file output stream object associated with the file name string and connect the file output stream to the object output stream object. This can be done in one of the line of code. So it can be done in any one of a line of a code. So you can see that. Now examples, opening an output file. To open a file named numbers.dat, you can actually use object output stream, and then we have output stream equals to new object output stream file, and that is taking file output stream. So now file output stream is also taking numbers.dat. Now the constructor for object output stream requires a file output stream argument, and constructor for file output stream also requires a string argument. So string argument is like a output file name. So you can see the two statement. In one statement we are giving the file name as a string, and in other we can give it as any other, you can say any other file output stream, any other variable which is having that file name. So these are two equivalent statements. So first of all, we have actually, in the above statement you see, we have actually created an object output stream by passing a object file output stream, and the below one we are creating a file output stream separately and then passing that one to a object output stream. So this is how it can be done. Now some object output stream methods. Let's see some of the methods of object output stream. So you can write a data to an output file after it is connected to a stream class. Use method defined in the object output stream, like write int and which is taking int n, then write double which is taking double, write boolean is taking boolean, etc. Note that each write method throws an IO exception. Eventually, we will have to write a catch block for it. Fine. Also, note that each write method includes a modifier final. The final methods cannot be redefined in the derived class. So this is how it works. Okay. Now closing a file. So we have seen that we need to close a file. So we even need to close object output stream. So the output file should be closed when you are done writing to it. So use a close method on a class object output stream. For example, to close a file opened in a previous example, use output stream.close. If a program ends normally, it will close any file, but definitely we have seen that you should close your file for various reasons. The two specific reasons were normal ending for that, and suppose if everyone want to read the same. Now writing a character to a file and unexpected. Well, there's a little complexity to it. So, okay guys, thank you very much. Let's meet in the next session. Thank you.